Capcom has just announced that Monster Hunter Wilds has sold over 10 million copies in the first month of sales. And that is just the beginning of the ridiculousness. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Back in the day, selling like a million copies or 2 million copies lifetime was a big deal. Nowadays, it's like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million to start to get back to even on production costs. Monster Hunter Wilds from Capcom selling over 10 million copies of the game in the first month of sales is almost unheard of for anyone, especially when you contrast it with places like Ubisoft and them using players engaged count and trying to confuse the player base with how many people actually bought their games because no one's buying the Ubisoft games. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how Capcom has sold over 10 million copies of Monster Hunter Wilds, while Ubisoft keeps gaslighting their own player base with engagement metrics and anti-consumer ideologies. First off, we have a letter from the director of Monster Hunter Wilds, from Yuya Takuda, and they said, "Hello, hunters. This is Yuya Takuda, the director of Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you so much for playing Monster Hunter Wilds. As announced today, Monster Hunter Wilds has now sold more than 10 million copies globally for a game that just came out a month ago. Contrast that with what Ubisoft is trying to do with Assassin's Creed Shadows, or EA's BioWare is trying to do with Dragon Age the Veilguard, and players engaged and player metrics and all the people that turned on their console and somehow transdentally played this game via some sort of subscription service, or downloaded on Steam and returned it, or other ways that we gave it away to them when they bought their PC parts. End of the day, the real story is the hard numbers. How many did you sell and how much money did you make? Odd how these other companies aren't talking about that. Almost like those games were failures. But here we have Monster Hunter Wilds and Capcom going on to champion how this game completely crushed it. The letter continues, "We are very happy that so many people around the world are playing the game. To commemorate the 10 million milestone, we are planning to release a free item pack for the community. So please look forward to more information." Isn't that nice, by the way? Like, we have Ubisoft over here nickel and diming people to get the map unlocked for $10 on Assassin's Creed Shadows because nobody wants to buy the game and they need to nickel and dime you to death on the DLCs and microtransactions. Meanwhile, we have Monster Hunter Wilds that is giving away free microtransaction and DLC content because the game was successful and they want to reward the players. That's a good sign. That's nice of them. We would also like to thank you for the many comments, thoughts, and feedback we have received since the game was released. The development team has been reading your feedback, and we are encouraged by it. We are also using the comments and feedback we have received to help us plan our future actions. Isn't that nice, by the way, to hear a company talk about how they're listening to the player base and taking in the feedback and trying to give the players what they want? I didn't think this would be such a hard concept, but here we are, like, championing a company doing what they should all be doing. In this message, I'd like to take a moment to run through some of the upcoming plans based on your feedback, including a few areas that have already been in the works. They go on to talk about future planned updates and free title update roadmap, with Friday, April 4th being the first update, and then planned for summer, another update as well, going on to additional monsters being added into the game, free title update, and end of May, balance adjustments, and talking about everything they're working on behind the scenes to make Monster Hunter Wilds the greatest game they possibly can for the people that purchase the game. And they end it stating, "We will continue to add new elements and content to make Monster Hunter Wilds even more enjoyable for all hunters through our free content updates, while at the same time making further improvements and adjustments to the game. We will do our best to ensure that you will enjoy the collaboration with another Capcom title in the update at the end of May, as well as the additional features in future updates. So we hope you enjoy it. Thank you for your continued support for Monster Hunter Wilds. Happy hunting." Isn't that refreshing, by the way, to hear a company talk about how they want to reward the player base for thanking them to purchase the game, that we're going to give you free content in return for that. That's awesome. It's almost like this is what companies should be doing for the players. That's great. How's Ubisoft handling it? In a world where publishers like Ubisoft are out here desperately trying anything they can to pivot the conversation away from games ownership, going so far as to push this dystopian mantra that you'll get used to not owning your games, Capcom's old school approach is a much welcome breath of fresh air. Contrasting the story with Ubisoft's engagement numbers with smoke and mirrors is absolutely hysterical. And I want to be clear here because Capcom is not innocent. Sure, they involve DEI in certain aspects of their company, and they have not been the greatest when it comes to putting DLC on a disc and then making people purchase it anyways, and microtransactions in many of their games as well. But at least I want to call out when they do something right, and the players are definitely responding to it in a great way. On X, Monster Hunter said, as Monster Hunter Wilds passes 10 million copies sold, director Yuya Takuda has a message to share directly with the community with details on what's next for the game, including future updates, challenging monsters, balance and quality of life, improving game stability, and more. And Capcom also put out a press release to announce the huge achievement of 10 million copies sold for Monster Hunter Wilds, celebrating it with the entire community. 10 million units sold in 1 month is insane. Like, sure, it's happened before, but think about how many times in the past a game has sold 10 million copies in its lifetime, never mind in the first month of sales. Part of the press release that I wanted to focus on specifically is where they say, while the fusion of numerous new elements with Monster Hunter's appeal has generated significant excitement, all of which led the company's first month sales record of over 10 million units sold. Having crossplay between the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S, having amazing visuals and the re-engine that they use, and new gameplay mechanics and storyline, this is what success looks like for a great game. And me personally playing it for upwards of about 8 hours so far, have enjoyed my time tremendously with it. I'd say the only drawback that I have right now is there's just so many great games coming out and not enough time to play them all. 2025 is shaping up to be one of the greatest years in all of history for incredible releases. Almost like the pandemic shortened the timeline for these games getting out and delayed them and made them all start coming out right now. I need more time in the day. And I guess I want to get back to Assassin's Creed Shadows at some point as well. Maybe. I don't know. The company spent the last few months dodging sales numbers and instead flaunting vague player engagement metrics, and nobody even knows what that even means. How long has someone left the game running in the background? How many times someone's even opened the launcher? Did they return the game? How much money did you make? More importantly, how much are you losing? Ubisoft isn't answering any of these questions. They're just throwing out these blanket statements of, hey, 3 million players engaged. It's like, great, that's an amazing amount of people. But how much money did you make? And how much did it cost to make the game? Capcom just proved to everyone what every gamer already knows. Ownership still matters, and it always will. 10 million units in a month for Monster Hunter Wilds isn't just a win for Capcom, it's a massive L for every publisher out there trying to kill the ownership of games, pushing this kind of always online DRM, or trying to shift the narrative to, oh, buy a subscription. You won't own your game, but hey, you can always get the subscription for a cheaper monthly price and then pay us every month, and then pay way more for the game than you would have ever paid for in the past. So yeah, why wouldn't you do it? Ubisoft can continue pretending that engagement is king. Meanwhile, Capcom will be sitting on the mountains of cash, earned the honest way by making a damn good game and selling it in droves directly to the players. It's already on track to match or surpass Monster Hunter World's lifetime sales of 22 million units. And if it does, that should be, hopefully, the final nail in the coffin for fake metrics and empty PR jargon. Because honestly, anybody who knows anything in gaming does not fall for that crap. Especially the investors. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link this in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Here's what happened. he was playing the game. Everything was fine. Somebody asked him to open up the store page, and he sees that a map hack is on the store page. After that, the vibe totally shifts. He randomly swims out to a ship. He climbs up to the top of the ship. He jumps down, kills himself, and quits the game. And he says, yep, guys, that's going to be about it.
What am I looking at here? Map pack? What? So if I pay $10, it's for revealing the whole map? See the world with the map pack. I thought I'd seen everything. It's gotta be on the curriculum at the Clown Academy. If you spend money on something like this, then you get your diploma. This is funny. This is the funniest microtransaction I think I've ever seen.
Smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change, smash, change.